So we thought that while building the products, it makes sense to build a platform which allows men to live confidently, not only by offering them products, but by even offering them a community of sorts. We still are a 1,350 members strong community on Discord, where people talk about their mental health, about their sexual problems, about their hair fall, about their skin very freely.
Hi Marmik, welcome to this episode of CommunityHub Spotlight by Thredo. These interviews are curated as resources for young community builders and brands who are planning to launch, build, engage, and scale their communities, right? So, why don't you start off with a little introduction about yourself and what Man Matters community is all about? Over to you.
Okay, hi Shalini, pleasure being here. To give you a perspective, I lead performance marketing for Man Matters and Bodywise. I lead it for Mosaic Wellness. At Man Matters, we built out or we started the brand thinking that we want to build a brand that listens to men and understands their problem and provides them solutions at a single place. So, for example, let's say if you get hair fall, you'd end up going to a doctor. First, you have to find a dermat. Now, you don't know if the dermat's going to be good or not. Then, let's say the dermat gives you a prescription. Then, you go to a medical store. You don't have any guarantee that the store has all your products. Then, you probably go to two medical stores to fulfill your entire prescription. The journey was quite broken. So we thought we would fix that. But while doing that, we realized talking internally that men don't really talk to each other. For example, when I started getting hair fall, I had no one to contact or ask, hey, how do I solve my hair fall, right? And the problem's even bigger when it comes to, let's say, sexual problems or problems related to skin. Because the way Indians look at it, skincare is for women, right? No. So let's say if I go and ask a friend कि अच्छा यार मुझे pimples आ रहे थे, like अरे क्या लड़की क्यों बन रहा है, which is actually not the right thing to do, right? These are very solvable problems. So we thought that while building the products, it makes sense to build a platform which allows men to live confidently, not only by offering them products, but by even offering them a community of sorts.
Absolutely makes sense. This is the reason why brands should have community as a very strong pillar of, you were to call it marketing or the whole brand perspective. Would love to understand, like how did you start off? Was there a very strong intent that you see why this community should be there?
So as I mentioned, right, so at the end of the day, we were on a mission to help men live confidently. So natural extension was to have a place where men can talk about the issues. So we started off with WhatsApp, but I think we sent out an SMS actually to all the users who had purchased from us up till that date. We still have around 15 WhatsApp groups till this date, where we initially thought we would share snippets about the content that we write on our blogs or the videos that we post. But as admins, right? So when users see that you're an admin, they end up coming and talking to and asking that I want to contribute, I want to ask questions. So we eventually ended up moving those groups into two-sided conversations instead of a one-sided conversation. But on WhatsApp, we always face this issue that we couldn't add more than 256 users. Very funnily, one of our team members was using Reddit. And there was this one forum on skincare where someone was like, oh, we don't have a Discord server. So we just quickly made a Discord server for that subreddit. And we saw that around 70 to 80 users joined within an hour, which led us to thinking, okay, why don't we have a Discord server for Man Matters? And we sent out the link to these users that we had. And of course, the adoption for Discord is low because I think people who eat avocados also have Discord and not the mass Indian audience. Right? But we still are a 1,350 members strong community on Discord where people talk about their mental health, about their sexual problems, about their hair fall, about their skin very freely. And in fact, at this point of time, we don't even contribute too much to the conversation. The members just talk to each other and sort everything out.
Okay, like super engaging community that you're talking about. So, how does it go? Has the community picked up a momentum where users just interact over content that they share?
So, we do follow engagement on WhatsApp. Okay. Because normally people, at least what we've seen is that people are a bit shy to start talking on WhatsApp until and unless they have a complaint. There was this one phase wherein our WhatsApp community ended up being like a customer service forum for some reason.
Yeah.
But there was a phase and it ended. And then people started having conversations on their own on Discord as well. So, what we've done is we've categorized the server into different subcategories related to, let's say, sexual hair, skin issues, weight management, and general normal men talk, which is, I'm going to be very stereotypical here, but about, let's say, finance memes or relationship advice, etc. Right? And the users just interact in their rooms, and then we have like around 40 members who are almost always active on Discord, so they end up talking to them, and the communication builds up from there.
Okay. So you made a very interesting point out there, right? Like, a brand community is always on the verge of becoming like a customer grievance place. So how did you transition from not being that to being like a successful brand community?
I still don't have an exact answer for this.
Okay.
Probably I would say we improved our operations and ensure that customers don't have to complain.
Okay.
But I think there's a mood of the community, right? And this is what we've even seen on Discord or WhatsApp these days, that if one person complains about, let's say, the products not giving them results, we have a few ambassadors who vouch for our products and they stand for us, saying that, dude, listen, relax, wait for 4 weeks or wait for 2 months, depending on the product that they're using. And it takes time to see results. So initially we had to do that. Since we were resolving one customer's doubt, other customers ended up bringing up their doubts instead. But the minute the user started stepping in for us, the doubts reduced, right? Because now you have an actual purchaser who's vouching for them. That sort of increases the trust on the product.
Right, absolutely. So where do you want to take this community? You have ambassadors vouching for you. Is this going to be like your future sales platform? What's the intention behind having this community?
No, this wouldn't be a sales platform ever. As I mentioned, right, we just wanted to be a place where men talk freely about anything under the sun.
Okay.
And that's all we expect out of it. So even when we launch new products, we barely put it out on our WhatsApp groups, and even on Discord, there is a specific channel where we put that, hey, we've launched this product, which is called new product announcements, and it's not mixed with the other conversations that are happening. So this doesn't have any sales goal right now.
Okay. By the way, how long has this community been in existence?
Probably, I would say 6 to 7 months.
Okay. So over the past 6 to 7 months, because of the community, did you see it impact your brand in one way or the other? It could be other sales or retention of loyal users, or it could just be changing the brand's image somehow. Did any of these?
It actually ended up being a platform for us to get very good real-time feedback on the products that we have to offer and the products that the consumers really need. So on our Discord server, a lot of men kept on complaining about how they have dark circles. So we got an under eye. It does remove dark circles, but it takes 4 weeks and it actually balances the melanin production. So it's not your usual fairness cream which removes dark circle on the spot, but it fights the root cause of it. And I think within a week, this was one of our highest selling products. And till date, it's a product where we have the lowest CAC.
Okay, so these product launches that you said, are there any special benefits that these members get?
No, not really. Already have a referral program in place. Many times users keep on asking us for discount codes. So we just have pinned messages that shows your discount code, and then they don't really bother.
Okay. So how many people manage this community right now? A brand community and addressing so many grievances would be a tough task, right?
It's a very good question because you have no one dedicated only to communities right now. Like all of us in the team are equally passionate about solving the cause. So no one really does it as a job responsibility or as a responsibility. Everyone just chips in whenever they have time.
And how do you guys manage the community? Like, do you have any tools that you use besides Discord, of course?
Nope, none right now. We would love to have tools to see, let's say, the sentiment or who are our most engaged users or who have the highest positive intent and who ends up spreading the most negativity. Although, because there are only a handful of people who put negative comments, it's very easy to figure it out right now. But let's say in the future, when we touch 10,000, probably this number also multiplies by 10. So it essentially helps us service them better. We don't want them to stop or discourage them from posting negative stuff. It just helps them understand what's going wrong at our end.
Right. Yeah. Right? Okay. Is there any strong story that you could tell our listeners about how somebody benefited from the community?
That's something that our products do, not essentially the community. But I'll be very honest, because there's a community that we have for mental well-being, there are a lot of folks who reach out and come up with problems that everyone faces, be it about, let's say, insecurities related to jobs that causes them to have a mental breakdown, or insecurities related to their height or weight or general anxiety. There are factors that lead to a person getting into anxiety or spiraling down to depression, but most of the times it just so happens, right? Yeah. But the point being that for every such case, there are at least 5 people who come and tell them that, bro, you're not alone. And so I wouldn't say there is one single person who has benefited out of it, but it's a whole collective of people who see people going through the same set of emotions as them.
Okay. Brand communities find it very hard to engage or build loyal user base around a community. So what are the challenges that you face while you try to scale this community?
So one challenge that I would say, this is very WhatsApp centric, is that because we can only allow 256 participants, so our communities are categorized by the products that they bought. We don't ask them to only join that community, but there's a very specific motto of joining that community. So conversations outside the said condition are very limited. And I don't think we have been able to try to digress from, let's say, hair issues or skin issues or weight issues. And when it comes to Discord, it gets very chaotic at times, because say the time when community is the most active is also the time when you're not really working. So it sort of eats into your free time as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but it's just the general chaos, right? Around, let's say, 10 people being active at the same time. So it gets very tough to follow what all they've spoken about or whether our brand was mentioned at any point of time. So you end up missing out sometimes on customer issues or feedback, because there are 150 messages that would have happened between, let's say, 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. and we missed.
So you want some kind of a tool to summarize these messages. So do you guys have a timeline of where you want to see the communities, probably say a few months down the line, or what's like the end goal, say a few years?
So like the way we don't have any sales metrics associated to the community, in the very same way we do not have any member growth metrics associated either. As I mentioned, right, at the end of day, we are okay if we only have 1,500 members and we don't grow from 1,500 to 2,000 or 3,000, as long as those 1,500 men are living very confidently.
And having built a successful brand community, which is Man Matters on Discord, do you have any tips for young community builders, and especially brands who are just venturing out and moving towards community?
One advice that at least I would give is to not treat community as a sales channel, because if a user is, let's say, probably opening Discord, they're not opening Discord to see ads again. They see enough of them on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Yeah. So I would probably urge to not make it as a sales channel. Whatever sales happen should be organic, in the sense of user asks to buy a certain product, and keep it as pure as possible and away from sales.
All right. Thanks, Marmik. Thanks so much for your time. This was great.
No problem.